to the Facebook group. So what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Creative Crypto Show. Thanks for hanging out. If you're watching this in the group, let me know. Hit the like button here on this live stream. Leave me a comment. Type the word live if you're watching live. If you're watching on a replay, type replay. At any point in time, if you have questions or comments about this live stream, and just let us know. Type them in the comments. I'm just going to pull it up here on my phone to make sure that I am live and that I am that I can actually hear my voice. The audio is coming through. It is. All right, perfect. So looks like it's coming through good there. So all right, welcome. If you're watching this on YouTube, then hit the link down below in the description. You can come join us in the Creative Crypto group and hang out and get all of the other cool stuff that we post in there during the day. So we're going to talk crypto today as usual. Before we get into that, though, we'd like to start with some good news. So Danny, you're here. You've joined us here on the actual live stream. So what's some good news? What's going on in your world that is good today?
Well, all is going good. Finances are growing, and I am really grateful for this moment to be here, to be able to cook and be at home and not worry about being somewhere else to work. So I'm totally grateful right now. I'm cooking for my mom, and this is a precious moment for me every day. You'll hear this for a while to come. But I'm grateful, and it's a great news that I can be here and cook her breakfast, well, although it's lunch almost here. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. Very, very happy. Great news for me to do this.
That's awesome. The freedom to just do simple things during the day, like have a conversation at home instead of at work, or cook a meal at home, or go for a walk at home. Just the freedom to do that and not be pinned to having to be somewhere else or doing certain things. That's a cool thing, and it's kind of the reason that I do everything that I do. It's the reason that I'm interested in crypto, because I see crypto as a way to that equates to more freedom for me. In many different ways.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I muted myself. So I appreciate you sharing. Glad to have you here on the call. My good news for the day is I looked at the clock at 8:30 this morning, and I had already done over almost a day's worth of work. I had my meditation in, I went for a walk, done a little bit of a workout, I done some reading, journaling, hanging out with my dog, had a call. It was just it's been a very productive morning. I can look at the rest of my day, and if I did nothing else for the rest of my day, it would already be a productive, successful day. So that's my good news, because I know that the rest of my day will not be unproductive, even though it could technically be, because I've gotten so much done. I know that what I've already gotten done, that kind of leads into the rest of my day and just fuels me to be even more productive. So for me, that's one of my favorite feelings. So let me share my screen here, and we're going to dive in and look at crypto, the world of crypto, see what's going on. First thing I'm going to do is pull up CoinMarketCap. You guys can see my screen now. So let's talk about what's going on. If we look at CoinMarketCap here, and we'll just compare it to yesterday's notes, the total market cap is 383 billion at the moment. That is up from yesterday. Yesterday it was 377. So the 24-hour volume is 18.4 billion. That's actually down from yesterday, but still in that range of where it is. It's actually on the low end of that range, but 18 billion 24-hour volume is not extremely low or extremely high. It's kind of in that little range that we've been seeing for the last few months now. Actually, for the last couple of months, we're kind of just in a, you know, it's not moving up very much or down very much. We're kind of in a sideways channel in terms of market cap for the last couple of months. The total number of cryptocurrencies is 1592. So that means that some of them have went away since yesterday, because yesterday we had 1617. So 1592. And then the Bitcoin dominance has decreased to 37% even. Yesterday was 37.2. So if we just scroll down the market, kind of a first glance, this 24-hour column is what we're looking at. You see a pretty good mix of green and red. There's some red thrown in there definitely, but it looks like there's maybe a little bit more green, but it kind of looks half and half. So let's sort by the change, and we'll notice that almost maybe 2/3 of the first page is in the green, and then the last 1/3 of this first page is in the red. And so what that means is it is a red day overall, but there's still a lot of coins that are in the green at this current moment. All right. The biggest gainers, the top one is Fedcoin at the moment, 31% up in the last 24 hours. Mixin is also above 10% up in the last 24 hours. EOS is close to one of the tops. It's up 8% in the last day. Komodo, Dragon Chain, BitShares, all of those. Now here's another interesting one. I might actually talk a little bit more about this one later, and that is Vertasium. Vertasium is $96. Interestingly enough, Vertasium is one that I'm very much so interested in as far as a big play coin. This is one of the coins that I'm very much looking forward to holding. I'm accumulating a lot of this right now. Number one, because it's under $100. If we just look at the chart here really quick, just for the last, let's go 1 year just so you can actually see the change. But look at this, like back in January, this coin was almost $500, $480, and right now we're sitting under $100. You dig into this coin about what it represents. It's one of those coins that's going to be giving companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all of those big central bankers, it's going to be giving them a run for their money. It's direct competition for them. And so the concept behind it is really cool. The team behind it is very well educated from what I can tell. Very smart. They seem to be, very well equipped to pull off their vision, which is quite a big vision. So Vertasium is one of the coins that I'm very much so interested in terms of performance over the next year. So there's a little kind of an inside tip, those of you that are curious what I'm doing. In terms of the bond market, gold and silver market, let's just take a look. TradingView.com is where I'm going to take a look. We will pull up the chart and see. All right, so this is silver. Again, about the same. It's just up and down within this channel, so no change really in silver. Not a surprise. Gold, same thing. We'd expect not a lot of change. It is selling off. But again, we're going to see this line right here, this kind of channel. There's not going to be a lot below that. I would be in MB. I would now is a great time to buy gold. I don't see gold going a lot lower than this kind of support area right here, 1300-ish. Right now it's setting lower, obviously 1200 and something, 1287. However, I don't see it going much lower. And truthfully, gold should be going up, silver should be going up, but they're not, because we don't have true price discovery. Why should they be going up? I'll show you. Look at the bond market here. What is it doing? Of course, same thing as always, selling off. People are dumping it, even since yesterday, like just dumping. Look at this. It's been selling off for months and months and months and months and months. People don't want the dollar. This is the Vanguard Total Bond Market. BND is the ticker symbol. This is a very good, solid representation of the value of the US dollar, because the US dollar is equivalent to bonds. That's what the US dollar is. They're debt bonds. And so I've talked on the show in the past about, how that happens and different things, how money is created and why they're connected, and why this is the kind of the ticker to watch in terms of seeing what's going on. So with the bond market doing what it's doing and selling off like it's selling off, that means the wealth has to be going somewhere. The other money, the other things like silver, gold, and cryptos, they should be going up. We should be seeing that, but that's not what we're seeing. And so it's a sign of it's more proof of manipulation, price manipulation on these traded markets. All right, it's a game for many, and the game's rigged. So that's kind of what's going on in the world of gold, silver, crypto, in the markets. Now, as far as mainstream news or notable world news, we got a couple of things. I mentioned yesterday that everybody's kind of squawking over North Korea and the stuff that's happening there. Still a lot of that. Again, I'm not paying attention to all of that. It's theater. I'm just letting the news outlets kind of play this situation out how they want. What I am paying attention to, and one thing that I did mention yesterday, I'll go ahead and say it again because it is important. Right now, the big focus is Iran. There's a lot of work and negotiations and things happening in Iran. In the near future, when I say near, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be months from now. But in the near future, that focus is going to shift from Iran to Israel. And whenever you notice that focus shifting, that's going to be a key indicator for you that we're getting really close for some dramatic changes happening. Nice. I just got paid from something else earlier than I normally do. So that was a nice little notification that just popped up there. Anyway, whenever you see that transition start happening and the focus go over to Israel, which again, could be next week, could be months from now. But whenever you see it, that is the indicator that we're getting close to a time period where big changes are coming in terms of world peace, and big, like, major announcements that conflict and subside and kind of correlate in ways that's tied directly into things like Bible prophecy and all of the corruption that's going on in the world. Like, a lot of stuff is going to come out. So that's one of the final dominoes, not the last one, but I'm just kind of putting that out there so you guys can see on a timeline. Right now, they're not talking about it. We're not even there yet. However, that's where we're going. So I talked about that. The only other thing that I'll say about world news right now for today is that blockchain is going to help get rid of fake news. There's so much fake news right now. If you go to CNN or Fox or any of the major news outlets, you're going to see fake news all over the place. A lot of people get their news on social, and I have people send me articles and things like that all the time that they believe. They wouldn't send them to me if they didn't believe that they were fact. But it's so obvious that they're not. To me, like, they send them, you just check the sources and you see what are they actually saying. It's fake news. And so this is obviously a concern. This is a rising concern. Lots of people are talking more and more about this. It's going to be a big trust. A big push from the people for trust. Trust is a big thing in the new world that we're moving into. And blockchain is going to help with that trust, because that's what blockchain is. It allows us to apply a system of trust over anything that we currently do. And so blockchain is going to help get rid of fake news. Now, in the world of crypto news, let's actually see what's going on with crypto news. We come down, let's pull up a couple of these things. We got Amazon coming on board. We got the governor of Federal Reserve saying that there's no Fedcoin coming, but they are interested in crypto. We got the Twitter CEO saying that he wants Bitcoin to be the primary currency of the world, essentially, of the internet. And then we got JP Morgan saying that they are looking into crypto, just a week after they say crypto is the stupidest investment ever. So let's just kind of look into this. And this is just kind of tipping or touching the surface of what's actually going on in terms of news. There's a lot of stuff coming out of Consensus, which is the big crypto conference that's happening right now. It's been happening for the last few days and over the weekend. And so let's just get into these news stories that I pulled up. So the first one I posted yesterday, JP Morgan saying we're looking into cryptocurrencies. Now, what he said, and this is not Jamie Dimon, it's Daniel Pinto. He said during an interview that although the firm is not optimistic about cryptocurrency in its current incarnation, he believes that the technology will play a role in the financial system moving forward. Duh. He said, quote, "We are looking into that space. I have no doubt that in one way or another, the technology will play a role. You can't have something where the business proposition is to be anonymous in the currency for unknown activities." Again, they're throwing in the same plea or cry that all of them that's been since day one and will continue to throw around: money laundering. You can money launder with cryptocurrency that you can't track. Well, guess what? You can money launder with cash. As a matter of fact, cash, the US dollar, is the #1 currency for money laundering, period. It's the most evil is done with that. So that's kind of a moot point, in my opinion. So it's basically just pulling, this statement is pulling from that core. That's going to have a very short shelf life because people will stop believing in it because you can do bad stuff, or the regulators will kill it. We already know that regulators are not going to kill it. Regulators are very much on board. The entire world is very much on board in terms of blockchain and where we're going. I mean, the major players are already on board. They may not all be saying they're on board or making it public, but they're all on board. Just watch for it. If they're not, they're going away, and they know that. So guess what? They're getting on board. So here's the rest of the quote. "I think the concept is valid. You have many central banks looking into it. The tokenization of the economy is real. Cryptocurrencies are real, but not in the current form." Here's the deal. The tokenization of economy, absolutely, that's real. That's where we're moving into. You're going to be able to, you're going to pay with things. Everything's going to be tokenized. And cryptocurrency is a very, that's the token. So this last part doesn't make sense. Cryptocurrencies are real, but not in the current form. And so this would be interesting. We're going to see just continuously. This guy's going to be saying Bitcoin sucks until the day that he's dead. I have no doubt. In the meantime, he's probably buying it on the back end and trading it and shorting it and all of that. So there's that. Then we have, this is a cool one: the internet needs a native currency. Now this is actually direct news from the Consensus conference that's taking place right now. The internet needs a native currency, and Jack Dorsey wants to help it beat Bitcoin. So Jack Dorsey is the guy behind Twitter, one of the guys behind Twitter. He also is the CEO of Square, and he wants his company to be at the forefront of getting cryptos like Bitcoin adopted as a global means of payment. Now Square, I have a Square account, no, never mind. That's a different story. I'm thinking of Stripe. So just completely ignore that. I don't have a Square account. I have a Stripe account. And it's one word and it starts with an S, and so I guess it sounded familiar. Anyway, this is cool news. The internet is going to have a native currency, so let's not wait for it to happen. Let's help it happen. This is his take, all right? Using Bitcoin or another crypto is a global currency that would lower the barrier for Dorsey's payments company to enter new markets. So yeah, he's on board. And this is a big deal, because his company and companies like it are going, and they do power the world of merchants. People that accept money in their business, Square makes it easy for them. And if Square makes it easy to to bring on crypto adoption by the people that they serve. This is a big deal. This is a massive step towards mass adoption. So this is good news. You can read through the specifics of what he said. The article link is in the Facebook group. Next on the list is a quote also from the conference that's happening, and this is from the governor of the Federal Reserve. She says cryptocurrencies are innovative but pose challenges. Gee, I wonder what challenges she's going to throw around. Let's see. Cryptocurrencies are strikingly innovative but also pose challenges associated with speculative dynamics, investor and consumer protections, regulation, and money laundering risks. All right, yes, we know these things already, so the argument is not new. Again, she's from the Federal Reserve. So she talks a little bit about this, and then she addresses Fedcoin. I've been talking about Fedcoin coming, but it says she nearly placed a nail in the coffin for the possibility of a Fedcoin, something market participants were increasingly speculating about, given signs like the other guy, her peer, being at the conference in general. The guy that develops this, so this, let's see, is he on there? Yes, right here. This guy being here at all is a very telling sign that some form of Fedcoin is coming. So it goes on to say, but despite the fact that the Federal Reserve appears committed in keeping its pulse on the cryptocurrency market, she nixed the idea of the agency joining it, saying we're not getting involved in crypto. It's complete crap. There probably isn't any love lost between the cryptocurrency community, the technology for which designed to bypass centralized authority and the Fed. Yeah, they don't want it happening. They haven't I mean, it's way easier if digital currencies and cryptocurrencies don't exist, because then you got no option but to trust us and our third party system and ways of doing stuff. And then we control the money, we control the world. So of course they don't like the idea of crypto. However, does it mean that they're not going to get involved in the idea of crypto? Absolutely not. It means they're very much so involved, and they are going to be involved because they know that they can't take it away. They can't make it go away. It's not going anywhere. So the quote is, there's no compelling demonstrated near Fed issue digital currency, she said. Now, they may not call it Fedcoin. I'll give them that. They may not. I still kind of think they might, but they may not. However, I can assure you, I don't want to say I can assure you and guarantee you, because this is all my opinion. I'm not giving advice. I'm giving you my opinion about this stuff based on my experience and research and study and all of that stuff. So I believe there is Fed involvement in a coin. Whether or not it's called Fedcoin is still yet to be determined. However, I'm not completely sold on the idea that Bitcoin has not been somewhat created by some people involved in the Federal Reserve. And I think, just kind of on that topic, who is behind Bitcoin? We've got this Satoshi Nakamoto character, which makes the story of Bitcoin all that more interesting. The fact that there's this guy this pseudonym that nobody really knows exactly who it is. There's people that claim that they are Satoshi. There's people that think they know who Satoshi is, or they've narrowed it down, but nobody really knows and has any proof for sure. My personal belief is I think Satoshi is a collaboration of a few people over a long period of time. I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has been in the works for many, many years. I think there were certain things that had to happen in the world in order to make Bitcoin work. Things like, because if you think about how Bitcoin is operated and where it's at, with the ability to, have an app on a phone. Well, guess what? A few years ago, not everybody had a phone. Not everybody was walking around with the phone. But do I think that Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency like it was not in the works at that time? Absolutely not. I think that it was definitely in the works. I think that that this particular time and period of time that we're living in, and technology that we have now, I think it's been planned, and I think it's been orchestrated and kind of an evolving thing over many years. And so it's just my personal take. One of those people involved, I think could be definitely involved from the Fed, or be connected to the Fed. Alan Greenspan was the former head of the Fed, and there's people that think Alan Greenspan is Satoshi Nakamoto. Alan Greenspan, I mean, it makes sense if you do some research on him. You will notice that Alan Greenspan is one of the world's best computer programmers, and has been for his entire life, since computers came out. Like that's a very well documented, like the best computer programmer in the world, one of, and still programming to this day. And so, is he involved in it? I mean, obviously, he's control of the Fed, so like he's not going to come out and say it. Like, he's the perfect person to have it be completely anonymous if he were the creator or one of the creators in it. So, there's people that think he's directly involved with it. Nonetheless, the Fed being involved, Federal Reserve being involved with cryptocurrency is a guarantee. It's absolutely going to happen. Like, there's no way they're not going to be involved. I believe they're already involved now and have been for quite some time. Now, let me give you a caveat to that. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin is bad if the Federal Reserve is involved. That's something that I initially dealt with whenever I started hearing this idea that, you know what, Bitcoin may be orchestrated or designed by government or by somebody like the Federal Reserve, or like this could be all a big planned thing, right? First time I heard those type of accusations, I was like, maybe the initial question was I mean, Bitcoin's bad, because I'm stoked about Bitcoin in the early days because it's taken me away from all these people. And it's taken me away from all these systems and ways of doing things that I don't jive with. And now here you're telling me that there's a possibility that those people that are, behind all of those systems are possibly involved in the creation of Bitcoin. Who knows and who cares? At this point, we know where we're at. We're very much plugged in and tapped into this market. We see what's going on. Do I still hold Bitcoin? Absolutely. Will I continue to hold Bitcoin? Yes, for a long time, regardless of what happens. But Bitcoin's not the only coin. There's other coins. There's lots of other stuff that's happening, and lots of other projects that I'm very much interested in. So this is an interesting article. The link to read it is in the Facebook group if you want to check that out. Another article on the agenda for today is Amazon partnering up with blockchain projects. So today in cryptocurrency, CoinDesk consensus highlights an Amazon blockchain partnership. So let's check out the Amazon blockchain partnership. What happened to this page? Let me just hit refresh. So a couple of headlines from the consensus conference. So talks from a FedEx Corporation and Federal Reserve President, blah, blah, blah. Coinbase launching new ventures. Facebook together its own team, and less than a week after Facebook putting together its own blockchain team, Amazon.com announced a new partnership with a blockchain startup, Kaleido. Amazon is hoping to give its AWS, Amazon Web Services, cloud customers a simple platform on which to build their company utilizing blockchain technology. Didn't I tell you this was coming? We talked about this 3 or 4 weeks ago. IBM was the first one in doing this that I brought up and talked about. And I said, you watch the other big companies, like this is what they're creating. This is what they're doing. They're not, they may or may not come out with their own coin. They may or may not adopt one of the existing coins, but these big ones that provide services like Amazon Web Services and Google Drive and Facebook Messenger and all of these services that so much of the world rely on and use in their business every day, they're going to be friendly with blockchain, and they're going to make it so that their users can use their stuff and integrate a decentralized blockchain, or in some cases a semi-centralized blockchain, into their existing business. And so There's more details on the partnership if you want to read through the specifics of that. The link is in the group, but that's a big deal. Amazon coming on board is a big deal, regardless of in what way they're coming on board. I think that they're going to continue to come on board, and we'll start to see even more so adoption as time goes on with that kind of stuff. All right, so we got that. Let's see, what else? I talked about Vertasium a little bit as one of my favorite coins a second ago or earlier. I won't get into that much right now, but I will say, let's see, there's a couple of things. If we actually just look at, you know what, I'm going to save that for tomorrow because I've already said basically what I wanted to say on it. You know, just a couple of months ago, it was 400. Over $400. Now it's under 100. I'm buying at the moment. And so that's what's going on in the world of crypto. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. One final message actually that I'm going to say is that I got a couple of things I think I'm going to save until tomorrow. But one thing is that the constant kind of cry from these quote unquote investors, these mouthpieces that you hear like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, you know, Charlie Munger, these different type of people, Steve Eisman, which if you guys don't know Steve Eisman, if you ever seen the movie The Big Short, he's the guy that predicted the housing bubble and crisis, and he shorted it and made a ton of money, and you know, brilliant minded guy, but now he's, you know, talking crap about Bitcoin and saying that, you know, just different things. And so here's my point. These investors that are talking about this, almost every single one of them, if you go back to their previous statements or whatever, they admittedly say that they don't understand it. And so here is my question. They say, they don't understand it, or I don't get it, or we're not researching into it because of my opinion that it's worthless, right? That's essentially the core of the message that they're saying. But here's the thing. Do they really deserve to be followed and worshiped as these great investors they are if they're not willing to put in the time, energy, and effort and have the foresight of studying and understanding this asset class? Because like it or not, cryptocurrency is the #1 fastest growing asset class in the history of all assets, period. It's in the whole history of the world. There's been no other asset class that grows, that has been this big of a success. And so for an investor to not be captivated by that and to not study it and to continue to make the decision to be ignorant around that, that's not an investor that I want to follow, quite frankly. That's somebody who's stuck in the old school. That's somebody who's stuck in a completely old way of thinking. And do they really have the respect of new money going forward? And new, you know, is this somebody that I want to put my trust in and make my decisions based off of? You know, am I taking their word as gospel? And the answer is no. If they're not going to learn about it, to understand it, to put in, I mean, you can go watch an hour's worth of YouTube videos and get it. And there's people that, and this stuff's been out for years. Bitcoin has been around literally for years. They haven't looked into it to understand it yet. Like, what kind of investor are you? So that's my take on it. I think it's silly. Now, granted, those people that might be saying that could also very well be a front, because some of the people that say those type of things like, oh, I don't get it, I'm not investing in something that I don't get. Well, they also have teams in their investments that do get it and are investing in it. And so it could just be a straight up, you know, front and kind of, you know, them taking orders and trying to suppress the price, which is kind of an effort that's being played on us right now anyway. So that's what I'll wrap it up with that for today. Thank you guys so much. Jessica, I saw that you are here. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Again, if you're in the group watching this, drop me a comment. Let me know if you're watching on Facebook and you want to come into the group. Please do so. Click the link, creativecrypto.group. Come over, join us, and we'll have some fun. Until next time, which will be tomorrow, at the same time. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.